Welcome to Crush House Cappers. I'm Wayne Allyn Root, your host, and this is the show for sports gamblers, all sports gamblers, amateur gamblers, brand new gamblers, professional gamblers, long-time gamblers. We're going to educate you, empower you, entertain you, turn amateur gamblers into professional gamblers. Millions of you will be betting on sports for the first time in your life, now that sports gambling is legal in states all over America. Our goal is to make you into smart guys, wise guys, winning sports bettors. Today, we're talking to the host of Vegas Sports X Radio and fellow longtime expert, professional sports gambler, and handicapper, my buddy, Ken Thomson. Hey, Ken, welcome to the show.
Wayne Allyn Root, great to be on the show and great to join a great host of panel experts over here and looking forward to it. I mean, I've been in sports gaming for, better than 25 years and to finally connect with you, it's a long time coming, I think.
I'm sorry to say I've been in sports gambling since I was, 16 years old in 1977 in Mount Vernon, New York, and the newspaper called me the next Jimmy the Greek and the betting whiz kid. So I've been in this business for almost 50 years. I can't even believe I'm saying something like that. Where did the years go? But Ken, 25 isn't bad. You got a way to go to match me, but 25 is not bad. It just means you're young, which is good. So be happy about that. Let's talk about your background.
Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off, but no, I've been doing it as long as you. In fact, I'm probably just a few months younger than you, or maybe even older than you, as I'll be the big 6-0 coming up in September. So I've been around this game.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I've been around this game for a long time, growing up in New Jersey, and gambling, but professionally gambling and selling plays for about 25 years, but been doing it for a longer time. In fact, on my Friday night show for the last 20 years, I think I'm the only show breaks down every single college and pro game against the number. I've done that over the last 20 years, even when I was in California. I've been in Vegas now since 2000, so I really enjoy, breaking down the games, but I get into everything. The injuries, you name it, we do it all, and that's why we feel that, this is going to be a great show for everybody involved because you're going to get a lot of great information.
Yeah, a little birdie told me, tell me if this is right, that your career began in the United States Navy on an aircraft carrier. Is that right?
That's correct, the USS Ranger. And now, understand this, Wayne. I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm on a carrier in the Indian Ocean. I'm getting everything across teletype, and so I'm staying up late with a 17-hour time difference. Not smart enough to realize I'm getting Sunday's football scores on Saturday. I could have made a mint, although I may have been man overboard. So it was kind of cool. But I remember just staying up sometimes, 4, 5, 6 hours till 4 or 5 in the morning and watching all these teletype games going and paying attention. And I was the guy out of 5,500 guys. I was the only one that had all those scores coming across the teletype. I got to know where all the officers were from, all the different people in the mess hall that took care of me because I had information that they wanted, and it was kind of unique. It was different. There were no computers, none of the cell phones, none of all this stuff that's at the ready right now. It was old school, but it was well worth staying up all those hours.
So let me get this straight. 5,500 blue-collar guys on an aircraft carrier, almost macho guys, young guys, which means every one of them bets on football, bets on sports. You could have been the bookmaker on the aircraft carrier. You could have made millions. You could have retired when your Navy career was over.
I know, right? Hindsight 2020 for sure.
All right, let's talk about your style of handicapping. What is it that you do that separates you from the crowd of handicappers?
Wayne, I think I'm old school as far as I am somebody that watches all the games. Even if I'm on a bet that I know I'm going to lose, I will watch and I will go back and listen to the broadcasters. Sometimes you pick up something that may be valuable for future plays. I don't think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people, they bet on trends. They bet on, power rankings, this and that. Look, power rankings, when I see college football and everything comes out, now we know Alabama and Clemson year in, year out are going to be top teams. But at the end of the day, when you look at that top 25, 7 weeks after they put it out, 15 of those teams may have already been knocked out because they do it prematurely, and I don't like that. So I'm somebody that's more of a person that watches. I'm somebody that pays attention. I've watched thousands and thousands of games, and I'll watch them back all during the week. I'll watch games that are taped, and I've been doing that for a long, long time. So I feel hands-on is the best way for me to handicap, and also, staying up on all the newspaper articles from around the different areas. And I've got a lot of good connections. I've been in the industry like I said, sportscasting for 25 plus years. So I've got a lot of connections, and I do get inside information. A lot of people say they do. They don't have the connections that I do in all the different sports. And I've been in broadcasting. I called games for Long Beach State, for UC Riverside basketball. So traveling with a team gives me insight that a lot of sports handicappers have no clue what it's like to travel with teams.
You know, it's funny because you and I are both old school from the standpoint. I love watching the games, especially football games, especially NFL on a Sunday. And I'll watch every game in the NFL from either from beginning to end on the key games, or in every case, I'll watch parts of every single game. But I probably for a different reason than you. I'm a contrarian handicapper, which means I like to do the opposite of what my eyes show me. So if I watch a team and they do everything wrong, and they drop every ball, and the quarterback is cursing, and the offensive line is letting the quarterback get sacked, and the coach is benching his players, everybody's in chaos, everyone hates each other. The average person watches that game, and next week they bet against that team. That's the team I'm giving as my best bet next week. I love betting on a team that stunk up the field last week, and next week, after a week of screaming by the coach and headlines in the newspapers of their town saying they suck and they can never win and they're pathetic and players should be cut and players should retire, I know that a professional gets motivated by that kind of thing, and I bet on that team the following week. So I'm watching all the games to look for reasons to bet against the team, and I bet on them, and to look for reasons to bet on a team because they have a perfect performance, and the average person watches that, and now they remember that, and they bet on them next week. I bet against them next week because it's all about value. They'll be overvalued by 3 points, and I'll grab the 3 extra points. So I try and watch parts of every single game just like you.
No, I totally get that. The public always remembers what they saw last. And yes, you can make money. And it is a true deal in Vegas to where, you know, the handicappers are like, I love this play. I know 3 other good handicappers love this play. And so I'm scared because when we're all on the same side, that means trouble usually.
And by the way, if I bet $1,000 in a game and they're losing, I still watch it to the end because I feel like I want to get every miserable dollar's worth of my $1,000 bet. It makes me sick to my stomach, but I bet $1,000 to get entertained, and so I watch it to the last dying second, miserable and wanting to puke, but at least I got my $1,000 worth. So whether winning or losing, I try to get my dollar's worth on each game and on those athletes. I don't know how you feel when you're watching a losing game, but it's a sickening feeling.
Well, it is a sickening feeling, but a lot of times, Wayne, I will pay attention to that game because if a team's down by 25, as Rick Mahorn will tell you, but at the end of the game, they're still playing hard. They're still trying to do something. That shows me a team might have heart, you know, especially in the college game. Not as much the pros, and that's why I stay away from some of the pro sports outside of the NFL, because these guys have more money in their bank accounts than the coaches do. But when I get the college players, that's where I make the majority of my money. In college basketball, because there's less to worry about. You don't have offense, defense, special teams. You've got 5 guys, 7 guys, 8 guys max. And so I think college basketball is the best sport to handicap. College football I love as well, but there's a lot more intangibles, as your buddy Jimmy the Greek would say back in the day. So, you know, I do watch games as well, even when I'm losing, just in case I might find out something about that team that I bet against or the team that I bet on that will help me for future plays.
It's interesting that I find out today that you're big on college basketball. It's your number one sport. Because I love football, number one, and then I love college basketball, number 2. And it's a close second because I win money on college basketball so often. And I think the reason I win money, and I want to see how you compare notes with me, is because the average odds maker knows everything about all 32 NFL teams. And they even know everything about every Division I college football team. But they can't possibly know everything about hundreds of college basketball teams. So I feel like we have a little bit of an edge as professional odds makers and handicappers and gamblers over the casino and the sportsbook directors and even the odds makers in those casinos on college basketball. They can't possibly know everything about every team. There's just too many teams. So their lines are sometimes off, and I could find a mismatch. You feel the same way about college, you?
I do, and in fact, I had Abilene Christian on the money line to beat Texas, and not many people did because they didn't know who the hell Abilene Christian was, or where they played, or even where the university, what state they were in. So when you find a team like that, and they're going up against a big favorite like Texas, and it's an in-state game, it means more to that little school. This is a game that they're going to play their hearts out because it means so much to the school. You get a little bonus when they upset a team like Texas. That's why Shaka Smart bailed to Marquette.
Well, and one of the reasons I had Abilene Christian too is I looked up the team defense of every team playing in March Madness, and Abilene Christian had a great team defense. Now, arguably, it was against third-hand competition, so it wasn't against the Texas of the world. But I try and find teams that nobody likes, nobody knows, nobody trusts, had no credibility, small teams, no big brand. They're playing a brand name like Texas, and they've got good defense on paper, and I'll take a shot with them. And Abilene Christian showed up. That was I love good defense anytime you're in the postseason of any sport.
No question about it. And if you watched what they did to the competition that they were playing, they destroyed all those teams. Those games weren't even games. Most of those games were 15 to 30-point games.
Ken, you and I are both Vegas boys now, and we're both East Coast boys originally. I didn't even know that about you. You're New Jersey. I'm Bronx, borderline New York. And now we're Vegas. And so we've got our own team, the Vegas Raiders. Matter of fact, every Saturday night, I eat at the same wonderful restaurant in Vegas. Who sits next to me every Saturday night? The owner of the Raiders sits next to me every single Saturday night. We hang out, we high five. It's great to have a team in our town now. What do you think about the Raiders' chances this year? They got supposedly the greatest coach in the world, the king of Monday Night Football, and yet they've had a mediocre performance every year. So are they for real this year with fans in the stands for the first time in Vegas?
Yeah. You know what, Wayne, and it was weird being at the Allegiant Stadium at the Death Star last year. In fact, I was there for several games and watched Brady come in there with Tampa Bay. It was so crazy just listening to the coaches and the players yell, and you can hear because there were no fans. Yes, Allegiant Stadium will be a big-time Raider advantage. And people that think that they're just going to come out to Vegas and get tickets for the opposing team, they're sadly mistaken. This 65,000 that's going to be there for every game. And by the way, 3 of the top 5 games this year, price-wise, as far as expensive tickets, are already Raider games, including the opening Monday night game against Baltimore, where the ticket prices for the lower bowl are averaging $2,200 per ticket. So people better get ready for the Raider Nation, because it couldn't be a more perfect setting for that team to be located in Vegas. When you played in L.A. for the years they did, played in Oakland twice, and San Diego, I used to work at Jack Murph when they'd come down there, which is now Qualcomm or whatever. That was they had a great advantage. They had a great home fan advantage. So throughout California, you've got, all those people coming into Vegas. In fact, about 30% of the season tickets were sold to people out of Oakland and LA. And also, you've got Raider Nation guy in Bismarck, North Dakota. Now he's going to come out and see a Raider game, and you center that around a trip to Las Vegas. This team has a lot of question marks. They've started the last 2 years 6-4, 6-3, but they've closed horrendously. And so Gruden's got to fix that. You bring in Gus Bradley from the Chargers. This is a guy that knows defense. That's where the Raiders have been weak. Offensively, they've got plenty of weapons, no question about it. Henry Ruggs III, Edwards, these guys need to stay healthy. They went out, grabbed John Brown, who's going to be solid. Willie Snead IV, also very good to help out one of the best tight ends in the game, and Darren Waller. Now, with Derek Carr, is he the answer? I don't know. What I saw from Marcus Mariota in 3/4 of a game last year, he rushed for 88 yards, threw for 220, and is a guy that runs the run-pass option pretty effectively. The Raiders have 2 good quarterbacks next to Josh Allen and Trubisky for Buffalo. They're the only team in a 17-game schedule that has that depth at quarterback. We don't know the Aaron Rodgers situation. I expect him to stay in Green Bay. We'll see how that all pans out. And also there's rumors Julio Jones would be coming to the Raiders. I talked to JT the Brick, my buddy, yesterday. He thinks they don't have enough money cap-wise, and they're not going to offer a number 1, which supposedly somebody has offered at Atlanta number 1 for Julio Jones. But I still think the Raiders on a 17-game schedule go over the total of 7.5 wins. I've already played it. I got it at 7 minus some juice. It's up to 7.5 everywhere else. The defense has a lot of young players. The draft was good, but Gus Bradley built the Legion of Boom up in Seattle, and there's no question he can get this defense to play well enough to give the offense a chance to outscore other teams.
You know what's funny is you're given the same write-up that I would give or analysis that I would give with my Dallas Cowboys. I happen to be the biggest Dallas Cowboy fan in the world, so I'm 5 years old. Roger Staubach, my hero. And all I could say is Dallas and the Raiders have the same situation. Excellent offense, one of the top 5 or 10 in all of the NFL. I think top 10 for the Raiders, top 5 for Dallas. And defense, horrendous for both teams. That's what let them down. So Raiders hired Gus Bradley. My Cowboys hired Dan Quinn. Both of them were the Legion of Boom in Seattle. Quinn followed Bradley with the Legion of Boom as the defensive coordinator. So they both went up northwest to find a coordinator that took Seattle to the Super Bowl, and now they both got great defensive coordinators. I feel like this is the year for the Cowboys, and I feel like this is the year for the Raiders. So I kind of think good things for both of them. And there's only one way Raiders make Super Bowl, by the way, and that's if Aaron Rodgers winds up as the quarterback of the Raiders, which is a remote, as you said, remote possibility. Other thing I want to mention when it comes to the Raiders, I go to a lot of Knights games, the Vegas Golden Knights in hockey. A lot of people watching this show may not be familiar with hockey. The Golden Knights have the most incredible fan base in all of the NHL. So that tells me that when we fill the stadium here with the Raiders, it's going to also be the most incredible fan base, the most incredible screaming, the most incredible home field advantage. The Knights almost never lose at home. It's incredible. Let me give you a stat. I, Wayne Root, have attended, I think, 25 Knights games since they came into existence. They've been around for 3 years now, I believe. I've gone to 25 games in 3 years. Their record in those games, 25-0. I've never seen a loss in regulation watching a Knights game. That's the most incredible thing I've ever heard. That's not because I'm good luck. It's because they're that good at home, and I just happen to pick the right games. But they almost never lose at home. Home field advantage in Vegas is we have all the best strip clubs in the world. And so when a team plays in Vegas, all the players on the away team can't wait to go to the strip clubs in Vegas, and they stay out till 3 a.m, get themselves in trouble, and the next day they stink in the game. That's why the Knights keep winning at home. And I'm telling you, every football team that comes to Vegas, their players will be out till 3 a.m, drinking, carousing, hanging out with strippers, and they're going to stumble into the football game, and the Raiders are going to have the best home advantage in the NFL with a wild crowd. What do you think about that analysis?
I'll take it, my man. If we could close the season as strong as we've started the last 2 campaigns, I'll be happy with that, because that'll mean postseason for sure. And you talked about the Dallas Cowboys. Me being a Jersey guy, I just got to throw this trivia question out at you, Wayne, because as well as you know the Cowboys, I bet you don't get this one. Joe Theismann played quarterback at South River High School in Jersey. He was replaced by a future Dallas Cowboy who was 1.5 years behind him. Do you know who that Dallas Cowboy was?
Well, first of all, was he good? Just give me a hint. Was he a good quarterback or someone I'll forget?
He was a good quarterback, and I will tell you this. He's good enough that he is a Hall of Famer in the NFL.
A Hall of Famer? Well, the only Hall of Famer for the Dallas Cowboys were Troy Aikman and Roger Staubach, right?
Well, isn't there one going in August?
But not a quarterback, right?
Drew Pearson was a quarterback in high school and then transitioned. And in fact, you remember Roger Staubach throwing to Drew Pearson the double pass. Dallas was really the first team that put that into play in the modern day era. So he'd step back 2 steps behind the line. Staubach would throw it to Drew Pearson, and Drew would throw it down the field. He was a quarterback in high school.
Ken, you got me. That was great. That's one of the best trivia questions of all time. What Dallas Cowboys going into the Hall of Fame that was the quarterback following Joe Theismann in high school in New Jersey? No one's going to get that one because I had no idea Drew Pearson was a quarterback in high school, but I'm so proud that my boy Drew Pearson is headed to the Hall of Fame. I teared up when I heard he was in. He deserves it. It took him 20 years too late to put him in the Hall of Fame. He's on the All-70s team as the best wide receiver of the entire decade of the 70s, and he didn't make the Hall of Fame till all these years later. Big mistake. He was overlooked. Great player. I love Drew. So happy for him. Had no idea he started out as a quarterback. Last question. NBA playoffs. Phoenix Suns, Lakers, Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics. Who do you like?
Brooklyn will get a sweep, I'm pretty sure. They blew them out the first 2 games, and you got the big 3 playing together. When you get Harden, when you get Kyrie, and you get Durant all playing well, this team's going to be, I don't want to say untouchable because Milwaukee's playing at a very high level, and Philly, of course, with Embiid and Simmons will be tough as well. As far as Phoenix, Chris Paul's banged up. They're a young team. Yes, going out and getting Paul helped Devin Booker, the Cams, Ayton. That's all well and good. But you got LeBron, who limped through the last month of the season, didn't play much, pretending he's hurt. He wasn't hurt. He's resting. He's ready. Anthony Davis is ready. And you saw it last night in Game 3. They took apart Phoenix. Phoenix got him in that first game, but Phoenix will be lucky to win one more. Lakers will win that in 6. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm an anti-Laker guy. I'm a Knicks fan, a diehard. But at the end of the day, with the Clippers struggling against Dallas, the Lakers, it's all set up for them to go back to the finals.
Hey, thanks for stopping in with us on Crush House Cappers. You can sign up to become a part of the Crush House gang and unlock all my picks for free. Only at VegasWinners.com. Did you hear what I said? Wayne Root's picks are free right now at VegasWinners.com. Check out more podcasts, enter to win prizes, including trips to Vegas to join me and the Crush House gang to watch a game and get all our expert picks live and in person. And of course, thanks to the gambling guru, Ken Thomson, for dropping in.